It's 5:30 in the morning. Thousands of monks and nuns have come here from surrounding countries for 10 days. From here they make their way every day to the center of Bodh Gaya, a village in the north of India. Although the humidity is higher than normal at this time of the year, the air is smoky and dusty. Hardly surprising, 70 million people live in this small province.
Bodh Gaya is considered for Buddhists perhaps one of the holiest places because this is where the Buddha attained enlightenment. So for practitioners, this is a very sacred place to meditate, to pray, and there's so many blessings that are here.
Many laymen have also come to this place of pilgrimage, sometimes after long and dangerous journeys.
We're here for 10 days, and this is the 15th year of the Monlam Chenmo, the World Peace Ceremony.
An essential part of the World Peace Ceremony involves the handing out of thousands and thousands of Buddhist books. They have been shipped here from California. The last truck has arrived overnight.
There are about 25 trucks that contain 200,000 books. Everything went really well. We got the books through customs and things went very smoothly. So if you can imagine that, it's like 25 train containers. I think it's possibly the largest distribution of Buddhist texts so far.
Our father is Tartong Tulku, and he's a Tibetan Nyingma Lama, and he was born in Tibet and educated in Tibet. He was of that generation of lamas before the occupation of Tibet who had the good fortune of receiving a really comprehensive traditional Dharma education. So many monasteries and libraries were being systematically destroyed in Tibet. So over 1,300 years of the sacred Dharma was just being wiped away. And I think at that time in his life that sense of a purpose and a dream was born for him, that it would be his life's mission to try to preserve the Buddha Dharma of Tibet by preserving these sacred texts. My father made it to Berkeley, California by '69, and he started a small Dharma center there. And for over 30 years now, this is what he's been doing, and each year it continues to grow on a monumental, exponential scale.
Our community is really guided by a very strong presence from my father, where, just for example, right before the production of the books that were being offered this year, we were given a goal that not one single person, even after 30 years of having worked with our father, said, this is going to be possible. No one thought it was possible.
A sense of urgency, a sense that we can't waste 1 minute. This is his basic mantra to all of his students, is that time is so precious, a human life is so precious, and it's up to us, once we recognize something that is of value, that we not waste our time, we not waste our energy and our potential and our strengths, and to just do it, to just cut through your weaknesses, your confusion, and your limitations. Work becomes a vehicle for accumulating merit, for purifying obscurations, for awakening. So work itself is spiritual work.
There is a selfless quality that comes through, and it's really deep and real, because people are working 12 to 14 to 16 hours, sometimes 6 days a week, and they're putting their whole energy and body and mind into it. For me, as a daughter, as just a human being, to see that kind of potential in a human being is really extraordinary. It's one, very humbling, and two, it's very inspirational to see that we have in every human being that possibility to put so much energy out.
In 1989, Rinpoche went to India for the first time in 30 years, and he invited a number of his Lama friends to join him at Bodh Gaya for a month of ceremonies. And he prepared some texts that first year. It was a very small number, a few hundred texts, but people requested him to repeat the ceremony, and it became an annual ceremony. And after that first year, he started producing more texts, and the second year we sent enough so that we could still take them on the airplane as excess baggage. But by the third year we had to ship them, and then it began to increase in scope all the time, and soon we were shipping containers of books, and this year it's going to be almost 200,000 volumes that we're shipping to give away. One of the reasons that we put so much effort into doing it now, and why there's a kind of sense of urgency, is that there is a turning point in Tibetan civilization coming up. The last generation of teachers who were completely trained in Tibet, who understood, who knew in their hearts and their bones what it meant to be raised in a culture that was dedicated to the Dharma, that generation of teachers is passing away. And they are the ones who can really transmit the essence of these teachings to their students so that it will continue from one generation to the next. So we feel as though it's tremendously important to get the books in the hands of the teachers now, not 5 years from now, not once everybody has computers and can look at them on screen, but right now.
Yamjang Dolma lives in a nunnery in South India. This is already her third visit to Bodh Gaya. She has chosen to devote her life to the Buddhist study, the Dharma. Yamjung has not seen her Tibetan parents, who live in New York, for 7 years now.
We're on our way to the main temple site, where we're going to start pre-positioning the Prajnaparamita books that will be given out to about 150 tulkus and khenpos. So right now we're going to meet with the book distribution team, and it's just rain, so we're hoping that all will go well for the rest of the day.
Reciting, day in, day out, is what Yamjung does here, together with the other 7,000 monks and nuns. How this will help to bring about world peace will be elucidated later.
This side we have only 100, and this side we have 25, and this side we have 45, and after Lance place we have 4.
It's raining. We're going to be moving to the Nyingma Monastery, so right now they're taking a break, and then they'll continue at the Nyingma Monastery. So the offering will probably take place tomorrow morning. So that's what's happening. Do you think that if we put, instead of getting the pallets, you don't think the plastic would be good enough?
I don't think that'll do any good, really.
Really?
Yeah, I think we have to get them up off the ground.
Off the ground completely?
Yeah.
Okay. Pema, we need to organize getting monks to help us to get the pallets. Basically, we're going to have to move the books and put pallets down because it could rain more.
Son-in-law, we need to get 100 monks, if possible, to move the books up onto these pallets.
Right now?
Huh?
You're talking about right now, right?
Yeah.
I think they already went.
Yeah. Go to the gate right now and we ask the monks to help
us. Yeah, that would be good.
And we need to get Mark, because Mark and Arnaud, we'll get the monks. We're getting the monks now, but we need somebody to kind of lead them of what they need to do.
This is a major mistake.
15 years of this world peace ceremony, and for the first time it is raining in Bodh Gaya. During the night, the books are kept dry with great care. It won't be long till the texts will see the daylight, here at the other side of the world.
We're here at the Nyingma Monastery, where many of the books have been actually stored and unloaded. And there was a convoy of 25 trucks, 25 containers worth of books, which is what we see all around us covered with the tarp. It's considered very auspicious and meritorious to actually make the distribution, so all of our effort is going as much as possible to have the books given at the tree. It is deeply symbolic that the Dharma is being returned to the place of enlightenment. We hope that that kind of effort is something that will last for a long time.
After the Buddha had been meditating under this Bodhi tree for a long time, more than 2,500 years ago, he came to understand the suffering in the world. He also learned how to ease the suffering. The insights that the Buddha gained, he passed on to his followers. Later on, these teachings were chronicled in many books.
Er zijn nu geloof ik 750 teksten zijn hier nu over de laatste 15 jaar uitgedeeld. Dat is maar een heel klein druppeltje. Maar de belangrijkste teksten, daar is hij natuurlijk als een gek mee bezig om die, zolang dat nog kan, om dat te doen. Al die Tibetanen die gevlucht zijn uit Tibet, die zitten in India, Nepal, Sikkim, Bhutan. Al die kloosters zijn zich daar weer gaan vestigen. Ik denk gauw een paar duizend. Die hebben nu een dak boven hun hoofd, ze hebben eten, dus sinds 1960, dus dat is al 25 jaar. Maar wat ze niet hebben is bibliotheek. Nou, wat Tartan Tuku voor ogen heeft, is om die bibliotheken op te bouwen. Dus de Prajnaparamita die hier wordt uitgewerkt, die is in zijn geheel niet voorhanden. En dat heeft hij dus dit jaar gedaan. En het zijn dus 7 dozen die bij elkaar die ene groep van teksten. En die gaat over hoe je in het dagelijks leven het boeddhisme kan beoefenen. En wat is daar voor je uiteindelijke inzicht eigenlijk voor nodig? Dus het inzicht en je handelen, daar gaat het allemaal over.
Today we will be offering the Prajnaparamita text. We'll also be offering various tankas to the General Assembly for all of the monks and nuns that are there.
With great care, preparations are being made to ceremoniously offer the books to the senior lamas, who are seated around the stupa's 4 directions. Peno Rinpoche will be the first. He is the highest in seniority, and he is seated on the west side of the monument, right in front of the Bodhi tree.
The Prajnaparamita is a sutra. These are teachings of the Buddha, and they are the highest teachings of enlightened knowledge. The Prajnaparamita is about the nature of emptiness. When you ask me what is the meaning of emptiness, I can honestly say that I have no idea, but I would certainly like to gain insight into that. And that is basically the project of Buddhism, is ultimately to gain direct insight into the nature of emptiness.
I feel very genuinely that it is a choice that you have to come and grow into, and the value of it becomes more beneficial and real when you understand your life and you really understand, the truth of suffering, and you go through life experiences really, what is the reason why we study the Dharma. It's not only from a traditional cultural standpoint, it has real practical benefits into your daily life.
Dharma is the teaching of the Lord Buddha. So Lord Buddha himself said, in near future, I will come as a book. So people should respect, people should try to read, try to practice what's written in there. So the book is just like Buddha himself. I think the main thing is, transform oneself, change our mind, attitude and all that. This is our main goal. So there are lots of different methods to do that. By doing postation, you see many people doing postation. It's not an exercise, but it's kind of a method because you do visualize in front of you Buddha and the books and Dharma and the Sangha, everything you visualize in front of you, and then yourself in the middle, surrounded by especially your enemies, your father, your mother, all sentient beings doing prostration together. So this is all kind of part of training. So same thing, when we are chanting, we are not just saying words. Or maybe some younger junior monks, maybe they are not really concentrating. But most of the senior monks and those who know how to do it properly. So it's sort of developing positive mind. The negative thoughts and the positive thoughts, it's like a light and dark, cannot be together. So if you can create more positive light or positive thoughts, automatically your negative thoughts and the darkness will reduce. So when you don't have the darkness or the negative thoughts at all, ultimate light, that is enlightenment.
The incessant reciting is beginning to bear fruit. The perception starts to be purified, even if you are a layperson and do not always understand the meaning of the texts. In an indescribable way, it has a healing effect. Healing because everything seems to converge. The self dissolves.
Before practicing, we have to learn it. So that's why we are learning. Without learning, if we practice, it's like without hand and climbing the rock.
Yamjang is determined to become a Lama herself, just like her teacher Pino Rinpoche. To prepare for this, she has to go into a retreat and lead a secluded life for a period of 3 years, 3 months and 3 days, so she can devote herself completely to meditation and study. Yamjang is convinced that after such an intensive retreat, she will be able to add more to the relief of the suffering in the world.
After becoming Lama, we believe that we gain more power to destroy the obstacles and defilements, delusions. So if we become Lama, we can help the human beings in every way. I want to practice on and on till my death.
This is the Guru Rinpoche, and then one of the greatest Nyingma master. And actually, he was born in India. Like we call it Origin Yuchi. Like so, he brought all the Vajrayana to the Tibet. So all the Nyingma paths, they call him second Buddha.
Als je het maximale van je geest naar voren wil roepen, dan roep je op Padmasambhava. Dus Padmasambhava is een historisch figuur. Maar als ik visualiseer en ik ben daar zo mee bezig, dan roep ik in mijzelf op. In boeddhisme geloof je niet in een kracht buiten jezelf. Alles wat buiten jezelf is een reflectie van wat je in jezelf hebt. Dus als je je geest Als je dit in je achterhoofd houdt, zou je het gewoon zeggen. Als je dit in je achterhoofd houdt, dan wordt dit langzamerhand onderdeel van je geest. Van binnen zijn we niet gefixeerd. Niks is vast. Alles is continu in een state of unfolding. Hè? En daar hebben ze een term voor en het is sunyata. Die term wordt vaak vertaald met niets of ledigheid. Dat wat er nu is, bouwt het volgende. En wat er nu is, komt voort uit het vorige. En die stroming, die continuïteit zonder begin en einde, dat is één van de waarheden. En dat betekent dus dat er veel verdriet is omdat je vasthoudt aan dingen die al niet meer zo zijn. En vooral in relaties is het natuurlijk vaak zo. Je begint heel enthousiast en voor je het weet zit alles vast. En als je denkt dat dat fixed is, als dat gefixeerd is, dan kan je ook niet veranderen. Maar in principe in een relatie of op werk kan je elk moment opnieuw beginnen. Maar het is je zelfbeeld, dat doe ik niet, dat kan niet, dat wil ik niet. Maar je kan elk moment het beter maken, omdat de waarheid is dat de situatie in principe open is. Er is niks dat vast ligt, dat jou zegt je moet zo zijn.
Spiritual nourishment in abundance, but the Buddhist body needs nourishment too. The staff sees to it that food is also being prepared for the 2,000 beggars who have come from afar. They know they can get something to eat at the time of the ceremony. We are kindly requested to respect the beggars, who often suffer from leprosy, by not aiming the camera at them.
Here we are. This is one of the texts that we offer to the assembly. One of the questions that I'm often asked by both pilgrims and many people, since Tartang Rinpoche was the founder of the Nyingma Monlam Chenmo, why he's not here. Since we began an exponential increase in actual text production, he's there as the primary proofreader and oversees all of the production. And so as much as he would like to be here, his priority now is to work on the books and work on the preservation of them.
We have this 32 monasteries that they're supposed to be sending us representatives, and we give them their sets.
We periodically call our father every couple of days. We also send back faxes during the ceremony, and we get further instructions about how we can do a better outreach to the different monasteries. He helps give us guidance about how to get an understanding of how, what are called the mother monasteries and the branch monasteries can all receive some of the precious texts that we are distributing now.
So, Arno, as these representatives come, there's this list that you're familiar with.
Only 10 days limited time, 7,000 people. We try to give as much as possible, but we have to look at our priorities in terms of where the books should go.
and we hope to send them out to the far remote areas of the Himalayas.
Ngajakala yung sung lo perche chungni ngona ini ngomanga chita lenga yomare chipunga samdasu in Nepal ini tini jemanga pema tuksu ini di jalan nga monang leka chiango tuksu ini ngapola yo pola desu kasu pola changma mitso changma milam jaga duri danlan do mi changma milam yorera digap so ngandi molam yo ha ko sung na pola thagrung bone eni gemang andila yong sung tini molam soya ko ka yong sung kasu teng tang bo yong sung mani sem te khakare sem tang teng tang bo chirang di duri danlan yong du ka te sem ka ka
따라 얘는 빅라마 가까리디 나 조롱 라마스네 가까로 얘 인주니 라브랑 때년은 뒤로 빼자면다 얘 다른 만도 오만 용시 뭐 때주롱 둘 깡바투도 샤부 숨레벨 되는 혼자 되는 주파 둘씩 얘는 혼자 놈들 때 모터는 채도 망불레 아니 이 주파네 놈들 현재 술킬 샤부식 때 놈들 현재 되는 혼자서 모터를 현재 양 혼자 말 다지 혼자 모터 저 민줄 parkal Then minister di orang ni sepuluh orang tu si orang tu le motor le ten si siapa mangkuk. Then orang tahu si motor le la tet mana orang mana aja ten jab kur di tahu mana orang la tet kira. Halam dawa le kira ni ni ten number orang motor berjaya. Orang mana Nyerang you tell him what woman. Then all of a sudden, ten go to Flama Chiri in the top but keep in never do shit up that. Tell him Lama due to pass out, you know, Kang Manda in the Yapu never do shit.
I pursued a master's degree in international politics because I really wanted to get involved with doing some political activist work for Tibet. And what I really wanted to do was to be a part of saving Tibet's unique cultural identity. And I realized that this opportunity was right in front of me with the work that is being done here in this community. There are moments where I realize the kind of enormity of what we're doing here. It actually happened to me yesterday at the registration table of all places, right as I was looking out at the temple, at the stupa. Just some feeling of the blessing of the books that we're offering and the realization of how lucky I am to be able to have a part in this transaction of the highest wisdom that will ever be available to humankind. And when that kind of dawned on me, that this is, slipping through my fingers, I felt my heart open tremendously, and I felt the wish that to really study these texts deeply and not just be a purveyor.
So now the monks are on the queue to get the text, and afterwards we nuns we will get the text.
Dev tamu mare ngamalam sleni chasan dev chasan topsu. Dev chasan topne tat. Dev tap pemo topsu ya kunjing kambumre dagana shi dev mangbo petosu. Remochegi dev par gyawa chasan ngazol ta chik lobing number chene tone chasan pemesi chasan kora radio. Dev kar che ne remochegi jima chasan karena de ngazol lama tawa chasan radio ta lo pechin lo goods duoro ngandelle ni chasan ras. Chasan ras.
Saju namsha tingira. Saju chasang tingira. Tini karasa kecheshu da de tongni ke korasa. Tirang re da juja dudu chena jeshi jang maboira.
She's my teacher. She taught me in my fourth standard. Her name is Ngaul Panju, and she's from Tibet.
New Mombida pushing the Mari pushing the Meg Sigba Nangsing Geneta, Ishigi Medi, New Mombi pushing the Sigba Cheo, Dilla Deneda, Shiji pushing Malusik be Mess, she answered. In the Jung Chirna San Sumba Distida, Yishigi Nawajita, Sasumba de la Kegi Sheshara, Digi Geneta, Ujung with Jumzeng in Sasumba de la Ujung set interested Minta in she answered. In the Ujeba de
Now it's the third part and the third path of Buddhism. It's called Ujung. Ujung means the light. It's like, for example, it's like delusions. The delusions are like firewood, and the wisdom is like a fire. And the fire burns the wood in this, like this. The wisdom burns our delusions and defilements. The main writer of this book text is Kunchen Longchen Ramjam, and he's also a Bodhisattva, and he's the Nyingma sector's greatest scholar.
Sangye chunda chisung tenpa nye chiri shungta shenji nyingzewa shenjor ngade danjor chokebo rangla likbar tsangmi nekabdi nyingne zunbe tarwa drubar cha kate tsediri pemba madrugna chine tenju jayang mitoshin ngendor gyuling yangdang nyangkorde panglang mishi lopi lamdushin toda dime korwar chamsarwa dewe dada rangwa yodede Levi Lamla Tumbi Tenjeji, Ketsunse, Tony Tenjeti, CP Tong Rabdu Tower Zoo.
All the people in this world they are rounding, circulating in this world again and again, dying and burning, because of this defilement in delusions. So if we can practice this text, and we can destroy the delusions and defilement, and we can stop burning in this world. In Tibetan, the topics, this book is called Semning also. Soul rest.
These 10 days, my job is very good. 2 types of job. I'm feeding beggars. We have minimum 1,000 beggars. And I'm helping this offering 100,000 butter lamps every day. There's 15 kilos butter, and we need 130 tins. So we have monks and nuns who are helping us we have 140. So that butter lamp is very important. In order to purify our disturbed emotion, we have to cultivate good karma. How can we cultivate the good karma? There's a few ways to do. One, your offerings. Second is practice, meditation or chanting. We have a lot of grasping, attachment, grasping, my, I. In order to abandon those things, we need to offer something. If you want to learn Buddhism, you practice, learn philosophy. Philosophy gives you confidence, and meditation gives you experience. These are the way to win.
And they sleeps at day and walks at night. And it took almost 1 month by foot from Tibet to...
Yamjang assists in interpreting. Some Tibetans do not wish to be filmed because they fear the Chinese occupiers, even far from home.
It's quite dangerous for them. They risk their life. 감전이 감전이 다 디스 모든 있어. 아니 용고된다고 가리는.
용고된다고 다 내kom. 도지든지 멜란지. 나.
이 교도 도지든지 간도치거든.
도지든지 디든 페시고 존슨다. 단어로 보든지 페시고.
아니 다 보여를 파 넣어줘야 하잖아.
반저 팔로는 다 내거 아니 저 팔로는.
아니 제니 랑가를 가는 양스.
랑가는 쓰는데 녀선 빠스매 리코르 컴바지오이.
아니 간데 용당 티스 냥당 티스 라달라.
라오.
간데 제 냥루 냥당.
냥 그나 컴바지오. 콤반나. 아니 사지 체인지게 깔레티 녀선다. 응? 오나 세딘 네 지지하고도 네 지지엄 라만 지지엄 아니 시고 찬스.
me so shema go so ma la kanga shego du so go molam dang ni ma chute za chelo dang ni te kanga chi ge pa kan ma chung chong de ha ko de nyong ha ko de te ge ni ta ngo so lo ge du ti le ka che mi ta te rin chu chu we go da sa ta pa ta nan ro ngama chung chong de ro te ta lo chu khun sa ri song te la ne ta pa ri chin da na yong go.
This mantra of Jambalyang Manjushri, the god of wisdom. This prayer will in this his mantras are printed and ruled, so we have to circulate it. We can't open. 같이 좀 해라. 같이 좀 그래.
같이 해서 말이 같이 좀. 같이나 양 비워라. 카바 맞에 비워라.
The mantra is
Nitizra kamajera this is tam
देखो नांग तो नहीं दे आज इनते मेरा
नांग तो दिन तो ड्रीम मारे लाते
you will get sin demerit will be demerit for us.
So collo te tambo tatar mo chena nangu du tingken song collo o mari collo nangu chene gasu che ta den pe cha mangbong do peyong chenbong do chedan phwa go me do so laman de song tene ta nepal ne di sang de news do tene collo de yog de ta lo mangbo ri te yog ne de choke chu so chupa ni ngawa ne yong de damba ko yo damba ne yong de nyang kang ka se khom yo le ka de nyang kang yo nyang ka ma de nyang.
I offer the Dharma bell with the deepest love and respect to my parents, my venerable teachers, my fellow countrymen, and the people of Arya Desa. I dedicate it to the world peace, the longevity of the Dharma, the memory of Tibet civilization and its destruction, and to the 100 million who perished in the violence of the last century. Tartang Rinpoche, Kunga Gelek, Yeshe Dorje, the head Lama of the Tibetan Nyingma Meditation Center, born in 1935 in Golok, eastern Tibet.
How to make from a tragic situation something that's miraculous, an offering, how to transform personal tragedy into practice. I think when we talk about the secret of my father's kind of success, it really lies fundamentally in his love of the Dharma. He's somebody who did have a traditional education in Tibet, so he knows what was lost.
He will get a 2 set, please. 2 set, yeah. Okay.
Maybe you would look at all of these books and think that the money is sort of coming from some generous donor or some generous foundation, but in fact, resources are very tight, and you're always constantly having to sort of what he calls struggle and juggling. And you just, that's one of his favorite terms, you're struggling and juggling, and you take a little bit of money from possibly the sale of some books here, and then you put that into the cost of the paper, or you try to get really good deals with the paper companies and invite them to the showroom to show what's happening, so that they could also see that this is not for commercial purposes, that this is actually in fact being distributed for free. The students that he's working with, and they quietly for the last 30 years or so have been working just day and night, especially when the time comes to go into production mode. There is literally a 24-hour shift going along.
We come here for 10 days, and we have the great honor of representing their hard work. And those people behind the scenes are the real, heroes behind the work.
There's so much work to be done. I mean, every day back in Berkeley and here, there's always, a list that's 500 times larger than what you think you can do. And because the list is so big, you actually have to let go of yourself. I'm Tsering. I can only do this amount. In a way, when you're given an opportunity to do something that's just beyond your own idea, you naturally come into something that's bigger than yourself.
I think that's what my father creates.
One day follows another. It seems as if books are being handed out continuously. For hours on end, pilgrims are queuing to get hold of a copy. Time doesn't matter anymore.
Are we doing the morning offerings?
Yes.
Yeah. So then after that we can.
5 o'clock. The money offering.
That's a new assembly.
800 monks at 5 o'clock. Really?
No.
Oh God.
what about world peace? How will the chanting from this place of pilgrimage ring out in areas where situations are at their worst? 2,500 years ago, there was also inequality and cruel oppression in the world. What was Buddha's answer then?
This is very powerful to be here and to walk in the footsteps of the Buddha and to see, probably with our own eyes, what the Buddha Shakyamuni saw himself in his own lifetime, all the kind of environment which was the basis for his own contemplations, for his own seeking of truth. And, you know, we have to ask ourselves those same questions when we come here, is, you know, how can we ignore the suffering of beings around us, especially when it's so direct, so in our face here in Bodh Gaya? And, you know, it's like a wake-up call. Some people have an orientation to feeding the hungry and clothing the poor and giving them shelter or educating them socially or politically and trying to empower them. But that's all important and essential for one's basic survival. But the Buddhist view is much more vast and transcendent. You know, we seek to remove the very causes of suffering, the roots of suffering. And the only way that we can achieve that aim from a Buddhist perspective is to awaken beings to their own Buddha nature, to give them the gift of wisdom, so that people can see what is ultimately liberating beyond just the here and now, beyond just our personal suffering.
Yamjung doesn't want to be paid for her help as an interpreter, not even if we suggest that she use the money to buy a present for her father, whom she will meet a week later for the first time in 7 years. She really doesn't want anything. She's glad to have been of help. And would we like to see her dormitory?
This is my room. Here I'm with 30 nuns here.